Um, no, no, there is no Discord. I think I should be 2 years into trading. Yeah, 2 years. I started trading 2018, August, November, around that time. Yeah, I'm good, Alex. Um, okay, I learned trading from the chart. Like I was so deep into the chart, and I actually love the chart. Like if there was no trading, I think I'll still be doing something else that is related to chart. Um, can you guys hear me clearly? No, no, no. I didn't learn from WWA. I am I am absolute. Yeah, I'm a Nigerian. You post only winning trade on IG. Um, okay, not Argentina, from Nigeria. Probably probably a Messi fan. That's why. Yeah, because of Messi. Yeah, that's right. How did you find the information on Wyckoff and Peter's entry? Okay, see why I'll probably talk. I'll probably explain that in this class. I'll explain that in this class. Not not teaching with Wyckoff, but explain how the industry works so that you understand what's happening. All right. Okay, it's 9 p.m. So I asked I asked you guys to give a sentence on about trading in one sentence. And so far I think just one person have answered me. He said that trading is the best thing that's ever happened to him, and I think that's actually right. So I would love to see more answers to that question before I start. The exchange of currency. Okay, so let's start. Is I think it's 9 p.m. I think we're good to go. Okay, I will probably not miss the shot. You guys can keep having fun. It depends on how long the video is. If it's probably up to 1 hour, I'll not share the recording. But if it's less, I think I will. So now, um, we are looking for at trading firm. I'll probably tell you that in trading, you have to focus on yourself and give it your all. That's the only way you can become successful. But I think people are tired of giving that because everybody keep on saying focus on yourself, give it your all, you probably become successful. There's probably more to that, and I'll take this class from a new perspective. So we're looking at trading from being a broker perspective. So if you can see trading from the broker perspective, then you probably know why we say for you to become a good trader, you have to focus on yourself. So every year the brokerage industry, they keep on increasing because they're into a business. They feel that being a broker is more profitable than being a trader. Why? Because at the end of the day, the trader will give them money. So in the long run, you're probably going to see more and more. Okay, can you guys hear me clearly? Let me get that part straight. Yeah, so in the future, you're probably going to see more and more brokers coming up. I think every alphabet has a broker. In your MT4, just type A to Z, you will see a broker for each alphabet. It's because it's because their business is probably very profitable. That's why. So now, what does what does the broker do? The broker, they create a perspective, a market perspective, and they teach it out through forms of educators. So the educator are the ones educating the traders that are trading with the broker platform. So whatever narrative they create, quote unquote narrative, their educator teaches that, and traders become happy that wow, my broker is giving me free seminar and they're helping me, stuff like that. So they always create narrative to bring trader in into the market. I think I'll probably have to miss the chat for some minutes. So yeah, they're always bringing new narratives to the market every time. That's why you probably see strategy here and there, up and down. It is the broker work. They make you feel that if you look at the market this way, you'll probably be happy that you're learning something new. But at the end of the day, they're giving you hope and more reason to keep on being in the market. So it is not until you start looking at the market from your own narrative. It's not until when you start creating your own narrative for yourself to look at the market, that's when you can start being profitable. Because you can't just watch a course and see a trader narrative and think you can start trading that way. It's not probably done. Let me put it this way. You cannot become a good businessman or businesswoman or business person just because you are attending the best business school. No, you have to sit down with yourself and create your own plan, your own strategy, your own way out. Whatever you got from the business school is just education, a theory on how things work. It's not going to work for you until you personally have that understanding of that stuff. That personal understanding of that stuff is what is actually very, very important. So now, how can you get that? Every single trading experience you have gotten from the first day you click the mouse, they all make up your narrative. At the end of the day, we're all going to see the market differently. We all can't see the market the same way. We always see it differently. So the earlier we start focusing on creating our narrative, the faster and better at which we can become a better trader. Now, how do we get a narrative? By looking at your chart. It is all in the chart. Everything you need is all in the chart. So when you are living your narrative or your personal education to the broker seminars or broker's narrative, or vocal educators that are just giving you more reason to keep on thinking that you're one step closer. And in reality, the only way you can become one step closer is by taking your time to study the market, trying to create your own view, your own personal narrative. So let me just unmute this chat. Let me see if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me clearly so far? Yeah. So the thing is that you actually have to take your time to study your past experience. If there was a time you ever took a trade, you were in loss, you kept on adding position, like study that, like why the fuck did I do that? Why did I just take that small loss? If there was a time you were in profit and you did not close, you kept on waiting for it to move higher. Study that, like why didn't I take my profit? Those those thoughts, those things, they will all become the foundation in your narrative. If I know that out of 100 times, if I always try to keep my trading longer, 99 times, it always come back to my entry. Then, for me, the narrative is that I will probably be securing my profit. But if I know that out of 100 times, after leaving, market always keep on moving further, my narrative is different from the previous case. Our experience so far since we started trading, I'll probably start with chat work on Wednesday. I'm trying to pass the message across to make you familiarize yourself with me for this class. So your narrative so far, or your experience so far, is what is going to enable you to create your narrative. So now, until you start creating your narrative, you can't become consistent. Your narrative is like a personal belief about the market. Narrative doesn't change; it only improve further. It always improve further. So when you don't have a narrative, you don't have anything to improve upon. It is your narrative about the market that will be your starting point or your foundation. That's when you can now continuously grow it or improve in it. So the earlier you start having your narrative, the better. So the truth is that there will never be a magic day where things will just become perfect. Look, things will become perfect in a magic day just because previously, probably 6 months ago, 1 year ago, you had a narrative that you kept on working upon for the past 1 year. That's why you think that there's just a magic day. But when you don't have anything to improve upon, you keep on shooting and beating about the bush, probably straight for 30 years to no result. Why? Because that narrative, that view of the market is not existing. So at the end of the day, what matters is what you think about the market, your personal idea about the market. If you believe that the market probably does stop on before moving, that's a narrative. If you believe that the market fake out every time, that's a narrative. Probably from your experience, that's what you have been seeing from the chart. So one important thing is that it is actually impossible for everyone to have a narrative, to have the same narrative. So now I'll probably go to the chat to explain something. So I'll probably give you an idea on what or how a narrative look like. Okay. I probably can minimize this. So so far, any question? Let me just get any questions so far. Hello? Yeah, so far, any question? Okay, I think let's go to the shell. So let me explain what a narrative really means. Can you guys see the screen? Okay, yeah. So let me explain what a narrative really means. This is probably a move. I believe that markets reverse after probably doing some schematics of some sort. Seeing the schematics here and seeing the schematics here, there are two different areas in the market. There are two different areas in the market. So this market is probably too high for me to want to read the schematics and say that it's going to shoot up. So even though you're probably looking at for the same schematics year and year, the area where they are in the market, the areas compared to this impulse move, they are different. So it is probably foolish to think that okay, I can just go to anywhere and start looking for schematics. Why? Because this market, they are all in different point of in the market. So in this point, I can probably see that okay, there's a good level of supply demand here. Looking for a schematics here make more sense than looking for a schematics here. Why? Because I want to be accurate in my trading. I don't want to trade impulsively. I just don't want to wake up in the morning and start coming here and think that okay, there's a magic that's going to happen here. So in narrative, you consider two things. One, the length and breadth, meaning that you consider the length is the height of the chart and the breadth. So I think this is length. The length and the breadth, you consider two aspects. In this case, this is probably this is probably my length. Then this is my breadth. So if I can see that the length is not as big as this, I can probably see it as okay to find in the schematics somewhere here. Why? Because the length is probably small. So this is probably good enough. But in this case, this is the length. This area is probably is too too high for me to start thinking that there'll probably be a disaster. Why? in corresponding to where the right. So every single market has their narrative. Every single move has its narrative. So those are one of the factors you consider. So now another narrative is the point of the market. Like, okay, let me put it this way: the time of the day or the seasonal tendency. If this is probably the okay, let me just explain this from the monthly time frame. So now, if the market open at probably the beginning of the month and I see it going up, it is allowed to go up. Why? Because it is just the beginning of the month. It has 28 days to come down. So it can go up from that to probably the next 2 weeks. But one thing is sure is that at the end of the month, at the end of the month, it's going to close in probably a red bar. So the beginning of the month that I see the market probably going up, I won't be carried away by the off move. Why? Because I'm aware of the tendency, the monthly tendency of the market. So it's probably free to probably go up. Why? The month is just starting. It has 20 days to take everything out. So in that case, I'll know that if I'm taking any buy beginning of this month, it's probably to secure my profit. Then when it's probably midweek of the month or probably the third week of the month, then I know that any plan I'm taking, I'm probably committing suicide because the market is showing a sign of closing the month in bearish. So because it's going to be a bearish month, it does not mean that the market will just start falling. No, a month is 30 days. It can take 12 days to go in the opposite direction. That will not stop the monthly time frame from closing the way it's going to close. So in trading, there are many narrative we always have to consider when making analysis. Yeah. So in trading, there are probably many narrative we always have to consider when making analysis. So this is a very important aspect of trading that's going to help your personal development. Trying to trying to get your personal narrative. When you have that, you can only start improving from there. Because why? You now have a foundation base that you can start improving from. Unlike when you are just trading without any base or any foundation. So yeah, that's probably the point of this class. So at the end of the day, it is your narrative that will give you confidence to hold the trade or confidence to close the trade. The sum is that your narrative is your confidence. So if you want to become a better trader, you start focusing on how to get one. Yeah. So so far, any questions so far? Okay. How to identify POI? There are many ways to get your POI, and one of the ways it all comes down to your narrative. So let me probably so far if everything is clear, I think I have time to probably analyze analyze the pair. So can let's just get a pair to do analysis on. Okay, Euro NZD. Okay, I think I'll probably take just that today. Euro NZD. Okay, I think I have something here already. So let's probably run this. So similar to our USD card, this is the impulse move, probably the length, the breadth. So this should be our area of interest for any buy I want to take. So we probably need to allow the market to get to this area before we can start looking for possible buys. So now market took out this low. What does the market do? After taking that a low, we probably want to go back then before coming down back. So for this pair, this is my narrative for this pair. Took out this low, retrace back, can form a new low to where probably a daily level supply and demand zone before moving. So what next? How do I probably take a trade? So we'll probably wait for what break of this structure. If price break structure, Masutra is going to come back down. So after that, I can now I can now focus on this area for my buys. Why? Because market have taken out this low. It went up to do what? Break the structure and I'll bring the buy. But I'm aware that the most tendency of this pair is to come down. Why? Because for the past month, it has been coming down. So the reason for my buy is to find where to sell. So far, this is what has formed so far. By the end of the month, this week, by the end of this month, it's going to close down further. But when will it start coming down? Nobody knows that. You only have to understand the narrative and wait for your opportunity to trade that narrative. So if anything, I wait for it to break my structure, return back, then I can buy, knowing that my main point of this market is to be in this sale. So I can allow the market to probably buy just so I can be in the sell later. So I can let the buy go. So yeah, I think this is probably clear and straightforward enough. Okay. Do you feel if it's better to trade more or less pair? Okay. You can only get better by you can only get better by practicing. You probably need to trade 100 pairs to get that market feel or market experience. Once you think you have that, then it is smart to start using your pay to as minimum as possible. Why? Because you are done getting market feel. It's time to become serious. So you trading more pay or you trading less pay, it depends on your objective. It depends on what you are after. It depends on the stage you are in trading. I will never tell a beginner to focus on two pairs. No, you have to actually trade 100 pairs to know how the market does these things. But if you have been trading for a while now, probably a year plus, I think it's time to get serious and focus on two or three pairs. Yeah. So why do you think break of structure is important? Okay, break of structure is not really important. It is really important when you know how to use it the right way, because the market does not move in higher low. Market move any I want to move. It can clear this high and clear this low. Just the way thing. You can probably see that there's a break of structure here. But what happened? It took out this low. So what is important in is how you use your break of structure. So break of structure is just a narrative. It is just a narrative. It's nothing more than that. Break of structure. Higher is higher low. Market does not really care about those stuff. You can see here it's coming down. Um, um, yeah, this is a good example. Lower high, what happened? You can see that there's a break of structure here, but still yet it came down. So the break of structure is just a narrative. It is how you use it that matters. Knowing when to use it or how to use it, that what matters. And it makes sense to you when you begin to have your own narrative. Can you explain how you see structure? I think I just did that. Um, how much is cost of mentorship? Xchat just offer private one-on-one class. We're probably still far from doing a group mentorship. I might be wrong, but I believe most pay. Well, correlation is still part of narrative. Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? You is okay. Okay, Euro USD, my favorite pair. Okay, today class is just to familiarize you with my voice and my face. So our next class will probably just do analysis. So I think that's probably all. But okay, repeat about mentorship. Okay, supply and demand is just a narrative that seems to make sense. Why? Because from the past, from the past, market probably tends to respect them. You can probably say that it's going to its supply and demand. What happened? It shut up. So it's just a narrative. If you feel that, if you feel that it's something that you can always see from your chart when you are practicing, then it's good enough to make it yours. So everything you need is in your chart. Okay, we only offer one-on-one mentorship for the time being. We are probably still very far from being a group mentorship, and the main reason is because I'm still a student and I might go back to school very soon. So I don't want to do a mentorship well. I won't be available to probably explain things when needed. Oh, so yeah, I think I've probably answered most of the questions. So today class, I, I talked about the importance of having your own personal narrative. That's probably what is going to change your trading. Focusing on getting one for yourself. When you have that, then you know that anything you bring to do, you are improving, you are growing. Why? Because you already have a base to focus on. But when you don't have that base, you keep on moving in circles till you're tired and finally decide to have a base. So the aim is to become a consistently profitable trader. And you can only get that by being consistent in not only your trading style, but your narrative. Your tools have to be consistent. The way you think has to be consistent. Everything has to be consistent. So it is not an end product, it is a process. So the first step of getting that process is by creating your trading narrative. So yeah, it's probably 30 minutes. I think we'll stop here for today. We probably Wednesday. So I think I'm going to share a video of this class. And yeah, that's all guys. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, I think I loved Messi since I was 9 years old. Okay, yeah, I'm actually planning to become the Messi of Forest. Let me put it that way because since there's a Messi in football, I think in Forest we need a Messi in Forest, and it's probably going to be me. Yeah, I think we're good to go for today. Yeah, that's all for today, guys. Happy trading. Take care. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Let me get back on my chart. Okay, let me change my screen. Okay, let me just talk about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is going to go up, but before going off, I think there'll be a last down retracement. But the aim is this place. So until you get here, I don't think there'll be a major drop. But when you get here, you probably hear that there's a new virus. So it's probably get to 90,000. So if I have to be in the move, as usual, market took out probably eyes, so it should probably come back. So I'll just wait for it to come back. When it does, then I finally bring the buy. So from that you get here, I think it is a good stuff to buy. But I don't like personally. I don't like buying high. I always buy low. Yeah, so I can probably sell to come low, but I can't really buy high. Yeah, I think that's probably good enough. So yeah, that's all for today class, guys. See you on Wednesday. So you probably do a pun how the class was. Take care, guys.